Jeff Patterson here at Northwest Fighting Arts. Today we're going to look at some Brazilian Jiu-jitsu warm-up exercises to help establish a good foundation with your training. The first three exercises that we're going to look at, really simple exercises to kind of warm up a little bit. The first one is a rocking exercise. So on this one, I'm going to do it from a couple different views so you can see what it looks like. We're going to start, let's keep our legs in first. And when you go back, don't let the head touch the mat. So tuck your chin down and you come back. When you rock up, don't let the feet touch the mat. So you kind of balance here, so you're using your core. Back, up, back, up. So I'm using my legs as a little bit of momentum to swing and then also to kind of pause so I don't have to fall and place my feet on the mat. Now, the next exercise we're going to do is very similar, but we're going to add the break fall. We do the break fall from standing, but in the beginning it's good to practice from a sitting position so you have a little less momentum when you hit the mat. So the way that we do, again, you're going to tuck the chin, cross your hands, and when you hit the mat, I want you to breathe out. So you're going to come through and come back up. Back. Back. Look at me from the side. Tuck the chin, cross the hands. That's the basics of the break fall. You can also play that one from the standing. So we do from the standing, from the side, cross the hands, back up, back up. Basic idea on the break fall. Now, another one we can do is a good kind of hip opener and to kind of get the body warmed up for your training is going back with either the rocking or the break fall and then coming up into a hip stretch. So it looks like this. You come back, fold one leg, swing the other leg around. Now, if you need to use your hands for support, you can. And if you're unflexible, your hip might be up like this, you can just come down to what's comfortable for you. Or you could leave the hands out of it, come down, touch the floor with your head, back up, rock back, fold the other leg, swing it around, drop the head from the side. That is the first set of basic exercises that we're going to do. In this series of techniques, we're going to look at bridging and some different ways to play this and put it together for a workout for you today. So the first basic bridge that we're going to do is feet in close to the hips. And we're just going to lift the hips slowly. Shoulders are square on the mat and down. Next variation, when you come up, you're going to roll over the shoulder. When you roll over the shoulder, you're going to turn your head to the side and open up your trap so it gives you more extension on the bridge. So when you come up, I tilt my head to the side, I reach with my far side arm, I come over and tap the mat. Back, tilt the head, tap. Feet are close to the butt, tilt the head to the side, and reach. 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 The third variation is the kickover. And the way that we're going to practice this today is you're going to start your basic position for the bridge. You lift the hips up, turn on your side, as you're just like you were doing in number 2. Now you're going to rotate on the balls of your feet. So your legs are going to turn to the side, butt's not getting lazy and touching the mat. The whole body's off the floor. Now when you kick over, this top leg is gonna kick up and the bottom ball of the foot is gonna push off the mat, and you're gonna come up to quarter position. From quarter position, you can sit out, and then I do the other side. I bridge, turn the legs, kick, come up. One more time. Bridge, turn the legs, push off the mat, kick the foot, come into my quarter position. When you're in a good quarter position, you want the elbows tucked in, head down. We're gonna be in a dead foot position for most of the time. Hips low, so you have a good solid foundation. The last position that we're gonna look at for the bridge is the kick under. So when we do this variation, I'm gonna start the same. I bridge, lift the hips, turn on my side. Now you're gonna slide your hips back. Again, not letting the body touch the mat. I slide my hips back, I bring that leg through, and I come up into quarter. Sit out, up, turn, slide the hips back, come through, into quarter. The next section we're going to look at is how to be a little bit more mobile with the body on the mat. So we're going to look at rolling forward, back, and we're also going to look at some break falls, rolling forward. So the first variation, really simple. We're going to start with just one leg up, sitting in a relaxed position, dead foot position with the back foot. Back foot is down here. Now, whatever knee is up, you're going to take that opposite side arm, and I'm gonna dive through and roll over this shoulder. And when you're doing the rolling, it's very important. We're not rolling over the neck. We don't wanna pull a muscle in our neck. We're just focusing on the shoulder and come up to the other side. Now, here. And as you see, if you don't have a lot of space, you could just do one back and forth, or you could do the length of the room if you had a little bit more space. Come up, come up. This is how we practice the forward rolls. Next one we're going to look at, the backward rolls. Now, this is one where I've seen a lot of beginners hurt their neck trying to practice this, because when they go back, they end up doing this, and they go right over the center of their neck. Some people can do that if they're flexible and they're used to that. I don't recommend practicing that way. I like to go back where your head never even has to touch the mat. So a way that we start to practice that to get the body mechanics and the coordination, so we don't, when we pick up momentum, do it wrong and incorrectly and hurt our necks, is when you go back, you're just gonna start on your back. We're not gonna roll this time. We're just working on building the coordination to go to that left shoulder, right shoulder. So when you come up and tap the feet, tap the feet. When that is easy, then you just let it come through. So I tap the feet, come around, sit back out, do the other side. Notice how when I'm playing that, the head never even needs to touch the mat. Now, a way that I like to put those two together and play them is you can start from this forward position, roll over the right shoulder going forward, and then the right shoulder going back. Switch sides, left shoulder going forward, left shoulder going back. Switch sides, right, right, left, left. The last one that we're going to look at here is a forward break fall. When you're doing the forward break fall, we start by having one foot in front, kind of like what we were doing in that sitting position. And as I come through, I'm going to swing that hand in the armpit, roll over the shoulder and slap the mat as I come through. So again, so I start here, right foot in front, that means I'm swinging through with my right hand. With that exercise, again, you could alternate and go down the room, left side, right side, or you could just do it back and forth like I was doing there. The next technique we're going to look at is a technical stand-up. When we're doing the technical stand-up, I want you to start on your back. You're going to use your legs for momentum to come up into a three-point position. So I've got that black hand post. My front foot is solid here. This hand is up to protect me from a punch or a kick. So I've got this position here. I plant this foot, I push here, step up. When I get up, I want to try to avoid letting my head come forward. I see a lot of guys will come up like here, and you're leaving yourself open this way. You want to try to keep the head back. Come up, get into your guard position. Again, we start here, come up into my three-point, up and back. Sit down into a squat, break fall, other side. And that is the technical stand-up. The next exercise we're going to look at is the shrimp. The shrimp is one of the most important mobility exercises in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You want to learn how to do it a few different ways. I'm going to show you a couple different options for this. And also we're going to look at the shrimp moving backwards and forwards. So when we are performing the shrimp, the first way we're going to look at is bringing the feet into the hips so I have a lot of room. If my feet are out here and I go to move my hips, they don't go very far. So I want to keep my feet up here so now when I extend my legs, I can push my hips further. You're going to roll to the side, hips off the floor. Now, when I extend the hips, I use the length of my legs to push my hips back, and then I move my whole body about 2 feet down the mat this way. That's a basic 2-foot shrimp. You can practice the shrimp with the outside foot, where this foot is loose. Sometimes maybe I've got somebody almost in my guard position, this leg's checking their hip, I'm using my frames, and I need to shrimp that hip out. So I can practice the shrimp off of that outside foot, come back to center. Outside foot, back to center. Lastly, sometimes I'm using this foot to checking the hip with the knee or the foot. Maybe I've got my hand on his bicep, or my foot on his bicep, my hand on his wrist, and I shrimp with the inside foot. Use that inside leg to move the hips. Lastly, we're going to look at the front shrimp. Now, when you're doing the front shrimp, you're going to start by bringing your hips up, or your waist up forward, stretch your legs, and then you're going to lift your hips up, kind of like you're throwing something over your head. Bring your hips down towards your feet. So when I'm in this position, I straighten out my legs, I bend into this jackknife position, and I lift this up over my head as my hips travel this way. Again. That is how you perform a few variations of the shrimp and the forward shrimp. This next section is on basic sprawls. So again, we're just going to look at a few different variations to give you some ideas and some things that you can rep out and get some repetitions, get the heart rate up a little bit. So the first one, we're gonna start in this deep squat position. When you're in this position, you're gonna plant the hands, shoot the hips back, arch the back, drive the hips to the floor, come right back to the squat. Back. From the side, squat position. Second variation. On this one is very much like the first one, but when I shoot it out, I'm gonna focus on turning my hips and just go to one side. And you can do this by leaving that spare foot up in the floor, in the air a little bit. So this is to assimilate, if they come in to try to grab this leg, I drop that hip down. Lastly, kind of another way to play this is combining it with the forward roll. So we start here, we do our forward roll, come up, sprawl. Forward roll, sprawl. Couple ways you can play the sprawl. The last warm-up we're going to look at is called the duck walk, and it's good for improving your shot, getting better at the takedown. When we're doing the duck walk position, we're going to start here, live foot on the back, roll that to that knee on the front foot, step up, roll, step up. Second variation of the duck walk, I stand up. It's duck walk with a pop-up. I stand up, squat down, drop to the knee, come up, drop, come up. All right, so there's a few warm-ups you guys can work on. And what I'd like you to do is when you practice these, you could do one section at a time. Maybe do 3 sets of 25 through each technique in each section. Then when you get the whole flow memorized and you know all the sections from the top of your head, do 1 set of 25 all the way from the beginning through the end. I think there's about maybe, I don't know, close to 15 different drills that we did. And then go back through and do another set of 25 and another set. You do that, you do 3 sets of 25 on each one of these. It'll be a good conditioner, it will help your mobility on the mat, and it will keep you moving and giving you some new ideas next time you're on the mat rolling with somebody else. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and keep training and stay positive.